Following the season finale of one of the best seasons of Rick and Morty we've got in recent years, the creators decided to bring us a spinoff I'm pretty sure no one asked for. I mean, after the banger season 3 finale showing President Curtis going up against Rick, I wasn't exactly enthralled by his future appearances. Keith David carries this character hard, but otherwise, I just found him to be an okay character. So when I heard a spinoff about him was coming out, I fully believed this was 100% a cash grab. After watching the first episode though, I can say there's definitely potential. This is a breakdown and review of the pilot episode of President Curtis. Now remember back when he would call Rick and Morty to take care of X-Files monsters here and there? The show is pretty much him saying,
"Fine, I'll do it myself."
This is shown by the intro itself, with him taking on famous cryptids like the Loch Ness Monster and Mothman. Along with him in the main cast, we have Special Agent Doyle, a half-leprechaun agent who supposedly never lies and has this crazy aura sense ability, and Banks, the new chief of staff that's kind of by the books and has some insane tech implants. And thus, the Powerpuff Girls were born. Okay, I can safely say that the team definitely needs more episodes for me to definitively say if they're a fun trio yet or not. Real quick, before the main plot even begins, something called a doppelgobble infiltrates the White House. It's implied that the gobblers from the Turkey Thanksgiving episode are the ones sending these hybrids. Cute continuity. Anywho, the main plot of this episode is that the CIA, through this officer named Jack Coffey, sneaks into the White House to get the fake moon landing tape to expose the government. Now, I'm gonna be real, I'm not well versed in American politics at all, so a lot of the references President Curtis makes flew right by my head. Do let me know down below if I've missed any. Characters do talk exactly like they do in Rick and Morty, with every line being a meta reference or something. As Coffey escapes with the tape, they go after him and we get two really funny scenes. For one, a random dog ends up chasing the tape, and Banks switches on her dog training mode, leading to this.
I'm the problem. All your bad behaviors are because I'm a lazy, undisciplined owner.
Such a Simpsons-ass joke. What follows is this stupid scene. See, Agent Doyle starts running the same speed as Curtis to make him feel better. I mean, the guy's always shown to have a short fuse, so it makes sense. But then he starts running full speed and we get this.
Get the hell out of here!
Yeah, this got a chuckle out of me. So stupid. I'm not gonna lie, it's even funnier at 2x speed. It's shown here that Doyle does deeply respect Curtis. I'm sensing that they're gonna have a father-son type relationship. Later, we learn that there was in fact a real moon landing, and a fake one that was produced by the US as a backup in case Armstrong decided to say some bullshit when he landed on the moon, instead of his iconic line. We learned that Stanley Kubrick is the one who actually filmed that whole thing. This is apparently a reference to the real-life conspiracy theory that if the moon landing was faked, he's the one who filmed it. I actually searched up how and why this theory even came to be, and apparently it's because of how sick of a movie director he is, and the fact that 2001: A Space Odyssey came out 1 year before the original moon landing. Oh, by the way, if you're enjoying the video so far, leave a like and subscribe. According to my analytics, 90% of you who watch my videos are not subscribed. Thank you for the immense support on the season 9 finale of Rick and Morty, and since you guys asked, I'm gonna be breaking down and reviewing every episode of this new spinoff as it comes out weekly. Subscribe so you don't miss out. Anyway, the main crew learns that the CIA actually have something deep on President Curtis himself, and if he doesn't want it exposed, he has to bring the fake moon landing recording. After realizing that Curtis only wants to serve himself instead of the good of everyone in America, Banks quits.
I don't work for people who only serve themselves.
When I serve myself, I serve the American people. That's the job of a president.
This establishes his arc for the episode, that he has to learn to be less selfish and more selfless. This line is called back to later. Now, I would say Doyle and Banks have a heart-to-heart, but to be honest, they just shit on each other like siblings do. Doyle states that Curtis has disappeared, leading them to all realize what he's gone to do. We also learn through a very quick and brief line said by Banks that Curtis is divorced. This might play a big part later in his story. After this, we see him meeting with a CIA agent. Curtis tells him he wants confirmation that if he does give up the moon tape, they'll destroy whatever they have on him. No surprise, this old guy turns out to be Coffey, the guy who infiltrated the office in the beginning, and we get this funny exchange.
What are you gonna do, shoot the president?
Yeah, because that never happens except to like 20% of you.
Actually, it's approximately 15.6%. That's if we count what happened with Trump. Honestly, this got me thinking of the actual president lineup in the show. I remember Summer explicitly mentioning Obama in season 1, so he might have been president before Curtis, although I'm pretty sure Curtis was supposed to be an Obama stand-in before they started making him a Trump parody. The point is, it's a clever line. Anyway, through some nonsense, Coffey ends up getting the tape before Banks and Doyle stop him. Then comes the interesting part. See, like I mentioned earlier, you might think the CIA is after the fake tape to expose the White House for being extremely shady, but it's revealed that they're actually after the real tape. Why? What I love is that the secret lies in the widescreen version of the real tape. Remember when that was a thing? After Curtis flexes his old head TV skills, we see this. Turns out that during the original Apollo mission, Buzz Aldrin had with him a baby, a superhuman baby, genetically enhanced by the US to survive on the moon and eventually colonize it.
Fucking classic!
Coffey then reveals that his team is already on the way to the moon. Now, the moon baby's name is Adam, most definitely a reference to the biblical Adam, since technically the baby would be the first human of the moon. The problem our main characters have is, how are they going to get to the moon so quickly?
With a little help from some old friends.
And would you look who it is? I honestly wasn't expecting a cameo so soon. Curtis apologizes for trying to kill Rick and Morty in their old adventures, referencing many of his appearances in their show, and of course, because the writers love being self-aware, they say this.
They spin off so fast.
I give it 10 episodes.
Damn, shots fired.
Hey, we ain't exactly evergreen ourselves, buddy. Now come help me move through the multiverse and whoa.
Okay, so the writers themselves know this is a weird concept for a spinoff, and I'm 100% confident that Rick's line proves they weren't expecting season 9 to be such a hit. They end up pushing the CIA off course, and upon landing on the moon, we get a few reveals. For one, Adam made this entire dome himself, and secondly, apparently the government sent even more space babies. Honestly, this reminded me of Lunas, that supposed moon man Morty saw in Morty's Mind Blowers, but that proved to be a smudge on the lens. I always love that one-off gag. Upon meeting Adam, who keeps doing a JFK impression, we see a video recording of LBJ stating that he worked with the CIA to make Adam, hoping one day he would come back to Earth and become the president of everything. Now, I'm gonna be real, this franchise is notorious for making convoluted plots, but it's honestly shocking how they managed to make such a ridiculous one without having multiversal nonsense. All I could think was,
What the fuck is going on?
Hold on, it gets worse.
you might wonder then, where the hell are the other moon babies? How are they?
Oh. Pretty sure he ate the babies.
And then Adam says,
When I serve myself, I serve the American people. That is the job of a president.
Okay, I get it. I was thinking problematically.
on the nose for a character arc, but I think that's the point, especially for a pilot episode. Curtis goes after Adam while Banks and Doyle take care of his moon bots, with Banks having to unlock her programming to help them survive, pretty much making her insane. This may be important for later. In their fight, Adam picks up the American flag and Curtis picks up an MTV flag, a huge throwback to the moon person, an award for MTV music videos. He then places a coin near this golf ball, a cute joke that he still follows proper golf etiquette before throwing it at Adam. The golf ball being there is also a reference to another astronaut named Alan Shepard, who hit a golf ball on the moon. By the end, Doyle stops unhinged programming Banks from ditching them on the moon. They end up arresting Adam, and Curtis realizes what he needs to do. On Earth, he decides to pull in over the hedge.
So just own it. Just say it out loud. I am a dirtbag.
And he exposes a secret that the CIA had on him himself. What could it be? Maybe it has something to do with his divorce. Did he do something to Rick? What could it possibly...
I shit my pants.
Fucking classic.
In the end, he decides to stop protecting his own interests and look out for the people, for now. I also want to note this look Doyle gives Banks at the end. To me, this looks like jealousy, and this might relate to what we see next. In the montage, we see Doyle making an EMP bullet and placing it on a shelf, where he has a picture of Banks when she first got her brain surgery done. I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be setting up that he's making contingencies for if her programming goes too far, just like it did earlier on the moon. Coupled with his potential ongoing jealousy with how Curtis treats her, this could make for an interesting conflict for the finale or something. Let me know if I'm missing something here, because it isn't exactly clear to me what the scene is trying to convey. The final shot shows Curtis lying in bed before briefly glancing at the empty space beside him. It's likely setting up the fallout from his divorce, which might become his central internal conflict throughout the season. Now, if you were to ask me what I thought of this episode overall, all I can really say is... It's definitely not bad by any means, but it also made me ask, why was the spinoff really created? Dan Harmon had this to say regarding the spinoff.
This show then is decidedly like, it has boundaries like death mattering and time and space like being things that need to be traversed with effort. I think that'll be a good thing. If you zoom in on something smaller, you just increase the resolution and there's still so much story to take place there.
What he's saying is that with a show like Rick and Morty, where it went from 0 to 100 real quick, and stories where death doesn't really matter and everything's just ridiculous, this spinoff allows them to scope in on a more simple and grounded story, and that put a big smile on my face. See, even though season 9 of the show was really good, you could tell that the writers were definitely having trouble coming up with new and interesting stories in a show where there really is no stakes. It's all about character, which IMO is infinitely harder to write. As a writer myself, I have the exact same issue, and I find myself having a lot of repetitive ideas. Again, you have to commend them for churning out great episodes regardless of that. That's why President Curtis could work. It actually allows them to be more free with the way they tell stories. It's why the potential conflict between Doyle and Banks actually makes me excited. Besides, if they cooked this hard with season 9, who's to say this show can't be just as good? Overall, a decent start to a spinoff no one asked for, and I am cautiously optimistic for what comes next. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe while you're down there. What did you guys think of the pilot? I'll be making weekly breakdowns of the show as episodes come out, so stick around. Sorry for this one coming out a little later, was busy working on the season 9 finale video. If you want to support me further, follow all my socials, join my Patreon, and consider grabbing my book The Shattered Absolution. Heavily inspired by the shows I cover, and I want to thank you for watching.